Hello, folks, and welcome back to Living Life Dialysis Style with me, Lisa Calistino. So, hope you like the palm trees in the back. It's pretty cold here, snowing, frigid. So, I thought the palm trees and the nice ocean breeze might be nice. But anyway, so today, excuse me, today I would like to show you guys what home dialysis is like for a person living with kidney disease. Um, like I said in my first one, I've been doing home dialysis since 2010, and it's the option I've chosen for me. It's the best option for me. Um, there are so many options out there, and every person is different, so every option needs to be for that person. So for me, when I switched to home dialysis, I was like, this is the way to go. This is what I want to do. I preferred not having to drive into the clinic. I preferred being home in my own room. I preferred, my husband here too. So it was better for both of us. He hated it when I went to the clinic and spent the night there. And, so this worked for me. So anyway, today, sorry to ramble on like that, but so let me show you what home dialysis is for me and what it looks like for me and for most patients that do home dialysis. Of course, everybody has their own little setup on how they arrange things or how they do things and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different, but the basic concept is there. So you get the gist of the idea of what's really happening. So let me see if I can share my screen because I've never done this before. In case you guys can't tell, I'm a little new at all this YouTube camera thingy. So hopefully one day I'll get a nice lighting that won't stop the glare on my glasses. So until then, you just have to bear with the little reflections. I try to, kind of do the best I can to get it out of there, but sorry. So anyway, let's move on. So let's see if I can share my screen and we will figure out how that goes. We're going to share. And I'm going to see if that works. And we're going to do my presentation, if I can find it, that is. Bear with me. Let's see if that's correct. I think that's correct. And we're going to do a slideshow and go from beginning. All right, so there you have it. So this is a little sketch of me. Yay. From when I started dialysis, from before I was on dialysis, different things I've done, my wedding, as you can see down in the corner. And so this is just a collage of different things about me. Yay. Yeah, so that's dialysis strong. Yeah, it's been a long road, but I'm still ticking. So anyway, so this is what the next stage machine looks like. It's pretty compact. It's about 2 feet by 2 feet by maybe 2.5 feet, but it weighs close to 100 pounds. So when we travel, I take the machine. We have a metal box that it gets put into so that it can go on airplanes and, because, what they do with what they do with the luggage on planes and stuff like that. So it gets into a metal case, and it can go on the airplanes. And I not yet, knock on wood, had a problem. The case itself is quite damaged, quite dented and stuff, but that's to be expected. But anyway, so this is the machine itself. As you can see, it's got the red is with the little red arrows is how fast your blood flows through the machine while you're on the machine. The yellow arrows there, you would put in the numbers to say how much fluid you need to take off. So say if I need to take a kilo off and I run for, say 3.5 hours, I would divide that by 3.5 hours and I would get what number should go in there and the overall total number. The green arrows are how much dialysate, that's the actual fluid that's going to be pulling the toxins out of my blood. So how much of that is going to be running through the machine per second per minute. So that, and mine is set at 25 liters. maximum. That's what I do per treatment. So once you set in how much fluid you're taking off and then the speed of the machine, that automatically calculates as to how much dialysate is going to go through the system for the time that you're on the machine. So it's a pretty nifty little machine. They do have a couple of other ones that they've come out with. I know the Baxter, and I think there's another one too. But this is the one that I use. This is the one that was the first to come out. I'm used to it. I know how it works, so I've stuck with it. The little black thing on the top, it's a bag warmer. So like when we go to vacations and stuff like that, and I don't have my home pre-made dialysate, which is what that box underneath the machine is. When I don't have my pre-made dialysate, it comes in bags. So when we travel, I can get 5-liter bags, and I can have as many bags as I need for my treatments. So they go on there, yeah, or set the timer up, and it warms the fluid so that it's not ice cold going into your veins. You don't want it super hot either, because really hot can damage your blood vessels. But if it's too cold, it's like putting ice into your veins, so it makes you cold. So that's what that is. That's the warmer. The little contraption on the left-hand side is the kidney, which is considered the kidney. So it's basically what your kidneys would do. The blood goes through all those little filters that are in there. And at some point, I will get one of those and cut it in half for you guys and show you what it actually looks like. But that's what's the kidney. So it has little tubulars in there, and my blood goes through the tubulars, and then all around it is the dialysate. And through osmosis, it pulls the toxins out from those little tubes into the dialysate to take out the toxins from my bloodstream. And then it goes right back and comes back to me. So that's the gist of the machine itself. So yeah, it's actually a really pretty nifty little doodad machine. So this is this is what I have next to my machine. So it's just the supplies that I would need. Like in the bottom, I have bags of saline, and then in the next drawer there's like the blue chucks things that they put on to catch like blood or anything like that. And then the next drawer I have all my needles, and then the heparin, and so forth on gauzes, rubber gloves. So everything that I need for a treatment is in these little drawers right next to my machine. Like I said, people do it differently. So some might have a different setup or something like that. This works for me. I like this. Any extra supplies we have in our other room in a spare closet. So, everybody has their setups. This is how I set mine up, and it works for me. So, so this was a basic setup of what I need to get myself onto the machine. So there's usually 2 needles. That's one needle would go in the arterial, so that would pull blood out of my body, and then the other one would be called the venous, which would bring blood back to my body. So you have to have 2 needles put in, unfortunately. But I mean, within the fistula and everything like that, it's just like anything else. You go get a shot. No, you don't like it, but you've had them before, so you know what it's like. So this is similar to that. No, I'm not thrilled about sticking needles the size of a straw in my arm, but I've gotten used to it. It's something I have to do, so you go with the flow. They do have a lot, and a lot of people use it, topical anesthetics, like a lidocaine. Either comes in a spray, it comes in an ointment, or what they do at the clinics is they inject it under the skin. So you're already getting a needle, you might as well just get the dialysis needle. That's my thought anyway, but some people prefer it. So, and that's totally fine. That's their preference, and that's fine. And I won't deny, I used to use the lidocaine needles too. So they would numb it up with a little bit of lidocaine under the skin before they put these big dialysis needles in. But I don't do that anymore. I don't use any kind of anesthetic on my skin at home. I just put the needles in. Now these needles actually are called buttonhole needles. So some people do buttonholes, and before I got my new fistula into my right arm, my left arm had an old fistula, which lasted me about 25 years, which is a miracle for fistulas. They don't usually last that long. But when I first started on the next stage, I started using the buttonhole technique. So basically, buttonhole technique is you are going to put the needle in the same exact hole, same exact spot, in the same exact direction and way that for every treatment. They are blunted, so they're not really sharp needles. So you can't, I jab them on my hand and you don't really cut yourself. But the way to form buttonholes is basically you would take a sharp needle and you would put it in the same spot several times for, for several treatments, in a row until you form what's considered pretty much like a little canal from your skin to the fistula vessel itself. And so then these buttonhole needles, you clear the scab away, which is that little white picky thing you can see in the center of the screen. So you use that and you clear away the scab a little bit, clean off the area with the alcohol. Some people use iodine. I'm allergic to iodine, so I only use the alcohol wipes, but I always make sure that I wash my arm thoroughly before treatment. And then just before I'm going to put the needles in, I thoroughly wipe it with the alcohol wipes. And then the buttonhole needles would go into that same spot where you just took the scab from, and they generally really just glide right in. So that's what those exact needles are. I'll show you some the needles I use now in a minute. But then you can see the bigger syringe there, which is next to the heparin bottle. For each treatment, you need to have heparin because your blood's going through these tubes and out of your body and through a system and everything. Even though it keeps moving, the heparin is going to help keep it from clotting when it's going through the machine and stuff like that. So it's a small amount of heparin. And if you know anything about heparin, it doesn't last in the body very long. So it lasts for the time of the treatment, and then that's about it. So then, of course, I've got my gauze and my tape, and my blue clamp is because I usually clamp my tubes up to my shoulder, so and onto my shirt, so that the lines are not just dangling, so that hopefully nothing ever happens where needles fall out. so that's kind of a setup of mine that I have for my treatments. So this is actually one of the buttonhole needles, and it's pretty much the same size as the needles that I am using regularly now. The only difference is that a sharp needle, it looks like this, but has a hole on the other side also. So as you can see, they're pretty big needles, but that was actually a 15 gauge. So I don't know if you guys know anything about how they size the gauge of needles, but the bigger the number, the smaller the needle. So if you've got a 22 gauge and an 18 gauge, 18 is a lot bigger than a 22. This here is a 15 gauge. My friends have seen it up close and they say it looks like a drinking straw. Hey, I know. I currently use a 16 gauge needle, which is just a little bit smaller than this one. And for my new fistula, it seems to work really fine. So, but my other fistula, when I was using these buttonhole needles, it was like, fistula was like this big. It was an old one. It was huge. It was powerful. So, using a 15 gauge worked great. I didn't have any problems with it or anything like that. So, but now I use 16, which is a little bit smaller. Let's see. So this is just pulling up some heparin. So if anybody's ever seen doctors and nurses, you hold the vial upside down, don't touch the needle, or don't touch the top of the jar, the vial. Generally wiping off the vial with a clean alcohol wipe before you use it. And then you just pull up however much heparin you need in your syringe. And I generally use 4 cc's, which is like 4,000 units. So yeah, so that's my heparin. So, and like I said, every treatment you need to have some heparin. Some people need more heparin than others. Some people need less heparin. I tend to not need too much. So I go with, some people are actually allergic to heparin too, and actually have to use something else. Generally, sometimes people will give themselves a little bit of extra saline throughout their treatments, like once an hour or something like that. And that will help to thin out the blood so it doesn't clot similar to what the heparin does. So yeah, some people, they're allergic to heparin and can't use it. Let's see. All right, so this is just me giving myself the heparin. So basically, you pull up, unclamp the little tube there, and you pull up a little bit of blood into the syringe, and then you push all the heparin into your veins. And then I usually pull it up, push it in, pull it up, push it in, pull it up, push it in a couple of times, just to make sure it's getting mixed through my body, through my blood. So that's it. So that was just a little bit of that. And then so. And this is actually once my needles are in and they're taped up. So I usually put a piece of tape over the needles and then around the needles to anchor them in. And then generally you're supposed to put another piece over those ends again so that they're set and hopefully nothing happens. So as you can see, my arm is dead there. I have my tubes in my hand. My blood's going through it. As you can see, one line is not quite red yet. So the red line is the blood that's going away from my body. And the other one is where the blood is coming back to my body in the machine, from the machine. Let's see. Oh, this is a setup that I had originally been doing. I've been doing for let's see, I've been on since 2010 and what with 2024. So we changed about a year ago. I'll tell you in a second. So anyway, this was my original setup. Generally, you get a chair from the medical institution that you're working with. And so it usually is like a recliner. It feet come out and top goes back, all that good stuff. It has two little tables on either side. So at this point, I was using my left arm for my dialysis. So that's why the light is over there, because it just helped me get a little bit better view when I was putting my needles in. As blood pressure cuff, yeah, always supposed to take blood pressures. But can I tell you one thing? All right, so you're not supposed to do blood pressures in any arm that has a fistula in it. So before I was able to take my blood pressure on my right arm. So now I can't take my blood pressure on my left arm and I can't take my blood pressure on my right arm because now I have a working fistula in my right arm and a deceased fistula in my left, but you still are not supposed to put a cuff on that. So where else do you take blood pressure, right? Yeah. All right. Well, this was a trial and error, definitely. So we have to take my blood pressure on my ankle or a little higher up. We tried the thigh. It doesn't work up there. And believe me, even on the ankle, it is a pain in the you-know-what to try and get. A lot of times we don't get it. I don't even think it's accurate anymore. So, if anybody has any suggestions about better ways of getting blood pressure, please leave some comments under this video and let me know, because I've gone to the doctors too and they're like, yeah, I can't get it. So anyway, this was my original setup. So I had my chair and my little table where I had my needles and everything on. The machine was set up there. And so then it would go, go and be hooked up to me in the chair. And then my supplies were right next to it. So it was pretty neat setup, but it took up, the chair and everything took up like most of our room. Didn't have much extra space in our bedroom when we had the chair and everything in there. But I do have a TV. It's in front of our bed, so I'm always able to watch TV, which is a godsend. But I play on my iPad too. So anyway. This is what we have now. So a little over a year ago, probably 2 years ago now, we invested in a adjustable bed. So, and I absolutely, absolutely love it. I think it was the best investment that we could have done. So I can use the bed now instead of a chair. So we got rid of the chair, so there's no more clutter in that side of our room, which is great. And as you can see now, the machine is now on my right side, so I can hook up to my right side. The table is new. I got that for Christmas, and I have to tell you, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. When I'm not doing dialysis, it fits right in between the bed and the dialysis machine, so I have a little nightstand. So it's great, perfect. But yeah, the bed's adjustable, so I can put it all the way up if I want, or down, or however, and all automatic, yay. And then I have my table, so I can either put my iPad on there, or so lots of times I'll have a cup of tea or something while I'm on the machine. Um, and the table is great for putting my needles in and stuff. I can put my arm right on it, and it works great. It was a great birthday Christmas gift. So thank you, Mom. Yeah. So that's pretty much how our setup is right now in our house. Um, yeah. So that's the general way of how it goes. So let me stop sharing with this and see if I can. We'll stop sharing. Stop. There we go. Hi, folks. Yay. So yeah, so that's just a basic setup for how I have my stuff, how I do things. Like I said, everybody is different. Uh, Everybody has their own little setup, and I definitely am going to try and get somebody on here that can go through peritoneal for you guys too. Um, I got to get a hold of a few people and see if we can schedule that at some point. Because I think it'd be nice for you guys to see that too, see how that's set up. It's very different from hemodialysis. Since there's no needles involved or anything like that. And there are different types of that too, there's like I said, the CAPD, which is continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis, which doesn't use any machinery. It's just done with gravity. So you put it above your head, you let the fluid in. When it comes time, you put it down and let the fluid drain out. And then there's CCPD, which is continuous circulatory peritoneal dialysis, which is where you have a machine, and the tubes are connected to that, and of course you have the dialysate stuff, just like with the hemo, and it runs continuously. So usually people do that one at nighttime while they sleep. So the fluid will go into their peritoneum, do what it has to do, and come back out. And then new fluid will go in and new fluid go out. So it's a continuous that's, in and out for however many hours that they are scheduled by their doctor to do it. Usually it's at least 6 to 8 hours every night that you do that. But the nice thing about that is when you're done in the morning, you disconnect yourself, you cap it, and you're on your way, So it is nice. But so hopefully I'm going to try and get somebody that's on peritoneal, and maybe we can do a share Zoom type thing, and they can show you exactly what they do as far as peritoneal dialysis. All right, so this last part before I finish this little segment here, I'm going to see if I can pull up a little video that my husband did of me on the machine and the way that the blood goes, and yeah. So let me see if I can find that, and if we can try and share that. Let me see. All right, so I think I figured out how to get that video up, so bear with me. Let's see if we can do this. I just got to find the right one, it's very confusing. Let's see. I want to share with you folks, but I can't find, oh, here it is. Okay. So if we do this, here's the video. All righty, so this is me on the machine saying hello. And as you see, the blood goes out, following down to the lines, and then goes up into the dialysis machine. Goes through all the little pumps and machine thingies over to the kidney. That's where all the blood goes, filters. Then it goes back through the machine again, and then back down through the tubes. That's the clean blood heading back towards my body and back to me. Yay! Ready. So that's that. Let's finish this and we'll do that back. So, all right. So that's a little lesson there you guys got on hemodialysis, home hemo. And if you have any questions, seriously, leave them down below. Make sure you like and then subscribe, because then you'll get a notification when I start putting up new videos. I can't guarantee how often I'm going to do videos. I can't guarantee how many I'm going to do videos, but I will always have something new coming at some point, and more the merrier. Haha. So it would be great if you click like, click subscribe and leave a comment down below. So again, Lisa here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing my story. Let me share my story with you, and hope to see you back again, living life dialysis style. All right, folks, that's all for today. Have a great day. God bless you all.